I'll let you kind of run it, Callum. What is a high ticket CSM?
Yeah, really good question. So for a lot of you watching this, this may be the first time you've maybe ever heard of the term high ticket CSM, right? You've probably heard of closers, appointment setters, the whole nine yards. But when it comes down to high ticket CSM, it seems to be like this new thing on the block, right? But one thing to keep in mind is it's not a new thing on the block. This is a role that's actually been around, like especially in the corporate space, for decades. Okay, so the principles remain the same. That like just in the corporate world where these businesses, they need sales reps, they need SDRs, they need people on the front end in order to get people, in order to get business, right? In order to enroll people into their products or their services. It's the exact same methodology of like how any remote online high ticket service based business operates as well, right? Although people may not think that they operationally manage the same as a corporate business, it literally is, right? It's still a business at the end of the day, and therefore they still have all of these key hires in these high ticket service based businesses. Now, there's a few nuances as to why the some of the roles in some of these high ticket service based businesses are a lot more lucrative. And that's for a number of different reasons, right? First of all, they're high ticket, and it is literally what it says on the tin. So a lot of these businesses are selling things, digital products, services, $5,000, $10,000, $15,000. Robert, I'm sure you can attest that we've got the Grant Cardones of this space, right? That are selling packages for 60K, 100K plus, right? But you kind of get the
Yeah.
point here. And the biggest difference here is that along with selling at high ticket, because all of these companies and the world really is making this shift to no longer pay for a big swanky office and no longer having, a huge coffee rotor and all of these huge overheads they need to pay for. As a remote based company, you have significantly higher profit margins. So what does that mean then? If you're, not only if you're the business owner for this company, but also that gets fed down, okay, that drips through the employees that work for that company. If that company has a lot higher profit margins, if they're making way more money, then so will you be able to at some of these positions. And I'm sure, you'll be familiar with how much, people are obviously making that transition from corporate sales to high ticket sales for the exact same reason. Just like people are going from the corporate account manager space, the corporate CSM space, transitioning over to becoming a high ticket CSM, because obviously you can make significantly more money in doing so, basically.
Yeah. And I mean, like I was literally doing research on coaching offers yesterday, and like they're charging, $50,000, $30,000 for like 3 months. And it's the reason that these companies need CSMs is because the standards are very high now, right? As a client, if I'm going to pay 20 grand for something, I want somebody's attention like 24/7, 7 days a week until I get whatever was promised to me, right, for that payment. And that's why these CSMs are in such high demand. So there's the front end, which is sales and marketing, and then there's the back end, which is almost always the high ticket CSMs who are in the works, doing the job, getting people the results. And I don't know, I think it's just really powerful. So
yeah, no, I think that's pretty much it. If you just kind of use, the analogy as I just mentioned of, if you just really understand that these high ticket businesses do operate in the exact same way, then it kind of all makes sense, right? And obviously, as a high ticket CSM, you're allowed to get way more benefits of that. Like number one, obviously being remote, you're not having to go into the office. But number two, because of all of these higher ticket prices, just think of the difference in upsell commissions, right? If you're in the corporate world, you're probably getting maybe like, a quarterly bonus. That's kind of your upsell commissions, right? Or maybe on a few $100 phone contract upsell, so on and so forth. Whereas in the high ticket space, me and Robert, and let's speak from firsthand experience, as a high ticket CSM, if you're upselling people into a 50K mastermind, 60K mastermind, and you're only getting 10% of that, right? Just start to do some maths. Like just start to think of like how some of these numbers can really sort of ramp up. And that doesn't even include the, obviously the base pay that you can get as well. So very, very lucrative position. And hopefully that, provides a little bit more context. So you can kind of see the relationship and why everybody in the transition over at the moment.
And then CSM stands for, Client Success Manager. The big difference between the high ticket CSMs that we're doing is like, we're not helping people do like customer service, right? This isn't like some sort of tech job or some sort of corporate America job where you're on the phones and you're like, helping answer like dumb little tech questions. This is like you're hands-on, you're trying to help the client have an impact. You're their coach, you're their guide, you're the Sherpa, right? And you're helping people get real results, which is another thing I think that we needed to just hit on about the high ticket CSM stuff.